Welcome to the July 7, 2023 meeting of the Rotary Club of Beavercreek, our first meeting of the 51st year of our club. I want to thank our greeters, Dave Brandenburg and Paul Otten, Eric Marcus for taking care of the tickets, Pete Bales, Mark Weinstein, and Mike Swedick for the great programs, and of course, Jim Gundel for handling the website. And I would invite Denny Jarvie to come forward for the invocation.
Good afternoon. Would you please join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator, we pray that you continue to bless the work that we as Rotarians from many nations and many faiths do to help those less fortunate. For we believe that the manifestation of the four-way test is in our Rotary motto, service above self. Amen.
Thanks, Denny. Joe Jenkins, Secretary's report.
All right, so we are at 58%, and we have a couple guests. Paul has a guest.
I skydive.
Yeah, so I've got Jeff Mann, our Director of Student Services with us.
Stephanie, do you have a guest?
You have my husband Paul, right? This one, Paul.
And then Rick has a couple guests.
Yes, I got Deborah Gross again, and I got Kelly West. She is the owner of Skydive Green County. So all you people that have that on your bucket list, she's in first now.
Done it so hard working.
Thank you so much. All right. We are going to start our meeting with a bang, and I invite Brian Lampton up for an induction. This is my first meeting already conducting a new member. God, this is just cruising along. We're going to need a new room.
All right, then.
Youth recruiter, though.
Now,
All right. Well, my fellow Rotarians, I'm very pleased to introduce a new member to our club this afternoon. Stephanie Cronin, will you please stand and be recognized? Stephanie was born in Asmara, Eritrea, probably mispronounced it, that is located in East Africa. It used to be part of Ethiopia. She and her family moved to America when she was 6 months old. Her father was in the Army. She attended high school at Washington Community High School in Washington, Illinois, that's near Peoria. She ran track and cross country. She attended Bradley University in Peoria and graduated with a degree in business administration. She then earned her MBA from Oklahoma University. So, how did she end up here? Like most of us, her husband was the United States Air Force, retired in 21, and of course was stationed at Wright Pat. Now, she is a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual in Beavercreek for about 8 months now. She enjoys running, hiking, traveling, quilting, photography, cooking, and volunteers at her church, Kirkmont Presbyterian. She belongs to the Wright Pat Officer Spouses Club and MVMAA. Her husband is chief counsel at AFRL. Stephanie worked in Cedarville in the financial aid office for 6 years. The coolest place she's ever been was New Zealand. The most famous person she ever met was Woody Harrelson. He was doing a stand-up routine back in 1991. She currently lives in Beavercreek with Paul and her kids, David, who's 21, Melissa, 19, Sarah, 17, and Christopher, 15. Her Rotary sponsor is Mark Weinstein, his first. So congratulations to you both. And Mark will affix her pin. Stephanie, you may be seated. So these words apply not only to our new inductee, but to all of us. Membership in Rotary is a privilege. I need my glasses. Members are given the opportunity to become more involved in the community and provide aid to all parts of the world. Involvement will be your key to getting the most out of your membership. Volunteers serve on a committee. These activities will help you get to know your fellow club members, along with learning and developing leadership and organizational skills. The Beavercreek Rotary is the service club of choice for those who make Beavercreek the community it is today. Beavercreek Rotary was founded in 1973, and a few of those founding members are still with us today. Rotary International began with Paul Harris in 1905. Started in Chicago. By 1925, Rotary had grown to 200 clubs and over 20,000 members, and today they are over 1.2 million members in over 200 countries across the globe. So Rotary members are expected to attend our regular meetings, and of course, you can make up by visiting other Rotary meetings in our area. Fairborn meets at noon on Wednesdays at TJ Chuck's, for example. Xenia Rotary meets Tuesday at noon at the new YMCA building. Of course, we also ask that you respond to your quarterly invoice, or Eric will yell at you. We'd like for you to participate in our Paul Harris Fellow Program, but mostly we want you involved in our club activities. Leaders are doers, not watchers. There are so many projects that we have, including our flag program that a lot of you got rained on recently. Our annual dictionary project, Christmas basket delivery, popcorn festival, golf outing, student exchange, pancake breakfast, and of course, service on our board. There you go. Membership in Rotary is an honor and a privilege. Treat it with respect and dignity. Wear your Rotary pin everywhere with pride. But most importantly, practice the principles and values of Rotary in your daily business and personal life. We expect that you'll be involved with this club. That is why Mark invited you to join. Rotarians are leaders. You have the desire to improve the community and world around us. So at this time, Stephanie Cronin, please come forward with Mark and Paul. And Mark will affix your pin, or maybe Paul will. Welcome. Okay. So Stephanie.
It's new.
Oh, you want?
Do you want maybe to do pictures? And your new name badge. Ladies and gentlemen, our newest Rotarian, Stephanie Cronin. Thank you, sir.
So now if we can get a wild round of applause for our Sergeant at Arms, Don Adams. That's way too much. Yeah, that is the equivalent of a standing ovation.
That was an overwhelming response to an underwhelming presentation.
Yeah.
Before I get started, I do want to thank the people that came out yesterday to help us take down the flags. It rained, and then it stopped, and then it rained again. And when I got home, I had not one dry spot anywhere. And also thank you to Amanda Jenkins for bringing the truck over, so we had someplace to send them. So today is July 7th. It's the 188th day of the year. There are only 177 days that remain till the end of the year. When this day started, 1,688,688,000 seconds had elapsed since midnight, January 1st, 1970. Wrap your head around that. To celebrate Chocolate Day, Father-Daughter Take a Walk Together Day, Global Forgiveness Day, National Dive Bar Day, National Strawberry Sundae Day, and To Tell the Truth Day. We also recognize Air Conditioning Appreciation Week. And with the temperatures we've had recently, that's really important. Be Nice to New Jersey Week, Creative Maladjustment Week, and Freedom Week. On this day in history, in 1456, a retrial verdict acquitted Joan of Arc of heresy 25 years after her death. In 1865, Mary Surratt, Lewis Powell, David Harrell, and George Asterot were executed for their role in the conspiracy to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln. In 1891, Marcellus Berry, an American Express employee, was granted 4 copyrights for what he called the traveler's check. Don't see too many of those anymore. In 1912, American athlete Jim Thorpe won 4 of 5 events to win the pentathlon gold in the Stockholm Olympics. His medal was stripped in 1913 because he played pro baseball, but was reinstated in 1982. In 1928, the very first loaf of pre-sliced bread was sold. It was billed as sliced, clean, made bread. Didn't cost a lot of dough. Yeah. Charles, you need to start doing this. In 1950, Marshall Bliss, the first Baltimore Air Show was held. In 1958, President Eisenhower signed a bill approving Alaska as statehood. And in 1976, 119 women joined the Corps of Cadets, establishing the first class of women at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Some dates of note here in the club. Member birthdays, Dave Dutz was on July 2nd. Partner birthdays, David Hayes has a birthday tomorrow. Member anniversaries, Matt Bone, 2 years. Beth Gutschley, 28 years. Bob Choi, 6 years. Mark Demery, 28 years. And Todd Figgins, 6 years. There's a couple of wedding anniversaries. Bob Kochoy and his wife Jean. This is actually today. And Eric Marcus and his wife Leila on July 4th. They were married 29 years. I struggle to come up with something this week to talk about, because if you do this every week, trying to come up with new ideas all the time is really difficult. If you think you can do that, please see me afterward. We'll work out something for you here. But I just want to know if you know these things had names. The space between your eyebrows, for those of those who don't have a unibrow, it's called glabella. The way it smells after a rain, and we got that yesterday, is called petrichor. The ruling of the stomach is actually called womble. The crying of a newborn baby is called vagitus. Somebody got it. The tiny plastic table placed in the middle of a pizza box is called a box tent. The day after tomorrow is called overmorrow. Your tiny toe and small finger are called minimus. The wire cage that holds a cork in a bottle of champagne is called a graph. When you combine an exclamation mark with a question mark, it is referred to as an interrobang. Well, it's the philosophy of Charles Schultz, who you all remember him, the creator of the comic strip Peanuts. He asked some questions. I want to ask these questions, so you don't have to answer, but just think about it. Can you name the 5 wealthiest people in the world? Can you name the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners? Can you name the last 5 winners of the Miss America pageant? Can you name 10 people who have won a Nobel Peace Prize? Or a Pulitzer Prize? Name the last decade's worth of World Series winners. How did you guys do? The point of this is none of us remember the headlines of yesterday. There are no second-rate achievers. They are the best in their fields, but the applause dies. Awards tarnish, achievements are forgotten, and accolades and certificates are buried with their owners. Now I'll give you another quiz and see how you do in this one. List a few teachers who have aided you in your journey through school. Name 3 friends who have helped you through the difficult time. Name 5 people who have taught you something worthwhile. Think of a few people who have made you feel appreciated and special. And think of 5 people you enjoy spending time with. That a little easier?
Yeah.
The lesson here is the people who make a difference in your life are not the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They are simply the ones that care the most. I've always said when one door closes, another one opens. He was a great man, but a horrible cabinet maker. A red-faced judge convened court after a long lunch. The first case involved a man with a drunk driving charge who claimed it simply wasn't true. He said, "I'm as sober as you are, Your Honor." The judge replied, "Clerk, please enter a guilty plea. The defendant is sentenced to 30 days. Dad's son came home with his report card. He says, "Son, can I see your report card?" "I don't have it." "Why don't you have it?" "I gave it to my friend. He wanted to scare his parents." One guy walked into a shoe store and asked for a pair of shoes that were clearly undersized for him. The salesman said, "But sir, I can see from up here that you need a much bigger pair of shoes than that." The guy says, "That's okay. Please bring me the smaller ones." The salesman brings them. The guy stuffs his feet into them, ties them tight, and then stands up, obviously in pain. The salesman just had to ask, "Sir, why must you have these undersized shoes?" He said to the salesman, "I work a boring job. My mother-in-law has just moved in with us. My wife is nagging all the time, and my daughter does nothing but run around screaming all day. The only pleasure I have in life is taking off these tight shoes." We spend the first 12 months of the children's lives teaching them to walk and talk. The next 18 years telling them to sit down and shut up. And Mary Jane was talking about, he said, "Your husband's birthday is coming up. What are you getting for him?" The wife said, "Oh, 100 of his favorite cigars." "What did you pay for them?" "Nothing. For the last few months, I've taken 1 or 2 out of his box daily. He's not noticed and will be delighted in my ability to remember what he smokes." I'm struggling to get my wife's attention, so I simply sat down and looked comfortable. That did the trick. I think, Paul, you might like this one. A very intelligent boy was fortunate enough to be receiving a far better education than his parents, and his vocabulary far outstripped theirs. One day he came home from school and said, "Mommy, May I relate to you a narrative? What's a narrative, Gerald? A narrative, mommy, is a tale. Oh, I see, said the mother, nodding, and Gerald told her his story. At bedtime, as he was about to go upstairs, he said, "So shall I extinguish the light, mommy?" What's extinguish? Extinguish means put out, mommy. Oh, I see. Yes, certainly. The next day, the clergyman came to tea, and the family dog began to make a nuisance of himself. And as a dog will, by begging for goodies at the table. "Gerald," said his mother, trying to impress, "take that dog by the narrative and extinguish him." There was a Rotary visitor in Japan that told a joke lasting 2 minutes. The interpreter then, using only a few words, everyone laughed. Afterwards, the visitor asked the interpreter how to translate such a long joke so quickly. "Well, I didn't think they would all get the point, so I just said, 'This is a joke, please laugh.'" And some of you might relate to this on the positive quotes that I like to leave behind. This is a little different this time. A friend of mine he had 3 dogs and he just lost 2 of them last week. And he shared these with me, and I thought I'd share these here because dog lovers out here might really appreciate this. He said, "Dogs have a way of finding people who need them and filling an emptiness we didn't know we had." I guess you don't really own a dog, you rent him, and you have to be thankful if you have a long leash. Heaven goes by favor, because if it went by merit, you would stay out and your dog would go in. I heard somebody define heaven once as a place where you get there, all the dogs you've ever loved run up to greet you. Today's fines. If you eat chocolate today, that's $1. If you fail to tell the truth to someone today, that's $1. If you've ever used traveler's checks, that's $1. If you've been to Alaska, that's $1. And if you're not wearing your Rotary pin, that's $1. Now to David for the first time in his present. Or having us.
Thank you, Don. All right, so who's got happy bucks? Alex?
Probably have fine too, so I'll go ahead and read that. As you, all of you know, that I got appointed as the fiscal officer for Beavercreek Township, and I have started a campaign. Been involved in some campaigns, but never did one on my own. The first campaign I was involved with my good friend Gene Fisher. So I reached out to his wife, and she agreed to be my campaign treasurer and kind of mentor through this process. So it made me feel real good. So, and my petitions will run around.
By the way. Yeah, follow up to that. I don't know how many of you guys got out last Friday to see the dedication for Gene Fisher. He had over 300 people and file accounts. It was just fabulous. It went really well. So when you're around 35, you going either way. Around 48 and 62, 42 and 68. Look for it. It's there and it looks very nice. And you'll remember a great friend and a great charity.
Okay. So not this past Tuesday, but Tuesday before. So I've got 2 happy bucks for my daughter who swam the Strait of Messina. So she swam from Sicily to the Boot of Italy. She was one of 30 selected in the world to do it. And she actually was the first to get across. So it's very exciting to be there and watch her do it. And a little scared just to know what kind of animals are in the water. And but she did great. So very happy. Other happy bucks. Well, and a couple of happy bucks. One, I want to welcome our Rotarian Ed Phillips back to being president. Glad to see you. And then I want to also give a happy buck, thank Judge Capelli for a really nice speech at the 4th of July Flags for Heroes event. We're going to see if we can't get her to expand it a little and maybe do a program for us on that. It was excellent. Any other happy bucks? All right, ticket drawing. Remember, the proceeds are split, or proceeds of this go to our Christmas basket project, 942-872. All right. It's got to pay for some of that trip.
Right.
Not enough.
So.
So, so we have to count on winning over at the bowling alley. All right, so in an odd circumstance and not the fault of our program folks, our program today is a no-show. So we're gonna get out of here early. Next week, we have Carolyn Sargent, a retired Air Force Master Sergeant, who's a musician, and she is going to present on the Freedom Flute Circle for Vets. Do we have any announcements?
Ew. I know everyone is on the edge of their seat right now. I can see it. I have a special little orange pen. You'll get to use it if you sign up for Dragon's Night on Saturday, August the 5th at 7:05. It's right here. Plenty of spaces to put it on here. Do not run. I'll stay afterwards. I mean, take your seats. I'll stay afterwards for anybody that wants to add their name to that. So my granddaughter's going. It's our most exciting event that we do with Rotary. So it's fun to do something with the little ones. So.
And I just learned that there are fireworks following the game.
Well, and then there were 2 people for fireworks.
Other announcements? Okay. Okay.
Please check your inboxes for your invoice that was emailed on July 2nd.
Yeah.
And is due July 31. The invoice will say it's due July 2nd. That was a mistake by the treasurer. I have totally berated him and he's been corrected and will have it again.
Please keep an eye on upcoming programs at beavercreekrotary.com and on our Facebook page. Anything else for the good of the club today? Stephanie, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance? After everybody gets standing here. Yeah.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good.
and just we have a new thing more. And it's not hard, but you have to do it. It wasn't anything. Yeah. I'm not like, I mean, I think that one burn off, break off the. Go by me. My dad stop really sad. That's it. So it's pretty good. This is all. I see it. I knew it was this is the doing last of this here. And that makes it right. I started first and then was that me telling you that Building performance, the opportunity of the and fall out. I'm starting. What do you swallow stock? I'm like, I right. That one is called. I'm gonna go. That's so that. Yeah, well. Wow. Yeah. And listen to the that's. All about. Oh, it's like, what we're doing, but it's actually. It's a bit of work. Don't go to even if that's all on sure it's non but not out. I believe that it's going to be one very sexy. Maybe all and the energy goes up. Yeah. Sure. You start with one. And all the say. And that's great.